Hi guys, welcome to Mr. Cooper's YouTube channel. Here we're going through our mock exam taken in March, giving the feedback, and I'll take you through the paper as you can see here. This is a student's paper that I'm just using an example while I go through the mark scheme that I've got on my screen next to it. So if I go quiet for a moment, I'm just finding the right questions and the right answers. Okay, so in your final exam you'll get 10 questions, multiple choice questions, normally worth 1 mark, but like this one you might get a 2 marker. It's simply a case of shading in what they call the lozenge to show which answer you want. If you go wrong, you simply put a cross through it and then colour in the right one. If you go wrong twice, well, don't go wrong twice. Basically, it gives you an example of how to do that, how to put that on if you do go wrong twice. I'm just adjusting my screen, just bear with me a second. Won't let me do it. Okay, no problem. So we've got then list below shows a range of different metals. Shade 2 circles to identify the metals that are ferrous. And if we remember the ferrous being the key bit there, the key word that we're looking for, and the key bit of ferrous is Fe, which is the chemical symbol for iron. Anything that's got the word iron or steel in it will be ferrous. So we've got cast iron, you've got low carbon steel. Okay, being your 2 straightforward answers. Which of the following properties allows a material to absorb impact without breaking? Ductility is stretching, hardness is scratching, plasticity is bending a bit like a bit of chewing gum. Toughness is impact resistant, so the correct answer would be toughness. Which category of testing includes a compressive strength test? So compression is squashing something, and you can't test something by squashing it, putting it under a lot of compressive force, unless you're going to destruct it, if you're going to make it fail, if you're going to make it break. So you can see here my candidates highlighted hardness. Hardness is a scratching test. Surface wear test, it's the wrong one. Originally they put destructive test and crossed it out. Sadly, changed their mind, so the answer is destructive test. Okay, so they've got that one wrong. Next one then, the heat treatment process applied, bear with me a minute, heat treatment applied to steel involves cooling at room temperature. Well, annealing is cooling it in an oven, so it's taken down slowly. Hardening is opposite, so that's not softening it up. You heat it up to a cherry red colour and dip it in some water. Tempering again is up to about 300 degrees and dipping it in water. So normalising is cooling down, much like annealing, but cooling it down at room temperature rather than in an oven. Okay. Which component reduces current flow in an electronic system? Capacitor stores it up. It's like a rubbish bin filling up with electricity. So if you imagine the electricity coming in, it fills up in that rubbish bin like that, and it carries on its way. Once it pours in here, it fills up to the level up at the top. Once it overflows, it carries on its way that way. Okay, so a bit like a rubbish bin. It's the only way I can describe it. Diode is to allow current to flow only in one direction. So essentially it allows it to flow in that one direction only. It puts a break in it there so it can't come back and go that way. Okay. A transistor amplifies the signal, and a resistor is the thing that resists. So you imagine a flow coming in kind of like that. It's going to go through a doorway. I'm just thinking how to draw this. Here's the doorway. You've got to get through the door. It's open like that. That resistor acts like that little doorway that only allows a smaller amount of current to go through it. Okay, so it works something along that kind of lines. Okay, so straightforward, 6 marks there. See how many you got on that one. I'm going to just look at the mark scheme to go through this next one, just so I can kind of read it through to you. So, glass reinforced polymer, property of that then, you've got good chemical resistance and thermal insulation. So we've got chemical resistant here. It's used for canoes, boat hulls, etc. Okay, so it's a plastic if you like. Medium density fiberboard, smooth surface, easily machined and painted. Could be used for furniture, for panelling, etc. And then you're looking for structural concrete here. Okay, structural concrete or steel reinforced concrete. Okay, so it's reinforced with steel bars for tensile strength. Build bridges and buildings with it. 2 reasons why composite material will be chosen over other materials. Let me quickly find this one for you. It gives a combination of properties for reinforcement, increase in strength, can be moulded, can be machined, and the mark scheme always says accept any other valid responses, and you're looking for 1 mark for each reason given. So not one word but a sentence, like you can see here, can have different properties that they can be mixed together. Combination of properties by a mixture of materials makes it more accessible, cost efficient, easy to manufacture compared to just buying one material. It could be very expensive. Yeah, reasonable. Okay, that ability to do something better, it's going to have better properties rather than the original material. Okay, I'll flick over onto the next one. Okay, so 2 advantages and disadvantages of a thermosetting polymer used to manufacture an electrical socket. Well, a thermosetting polymer, I'm just trying to find this one. Here we go. A thermosetting polymer is one that is used for applications where we're dealing with high heat. So we're looking at press moulding, that kind of thing, as opposed to injection moulding. It's used where we can't kind of recycle the plastic again. Okay, so we're looking for answers that aren't flipped. So an advantage is not the opposite of a disadvantage. Yeah, you don't want to just say it's a good insulator and then for your disadvantage it doesn't allow it to warm up, for example. So advantage being it's an insulator, low thermal conductivity, so it doesn't let heat build up. It's tough, it's mouldable, it's hard, has a smooth surface, so you're making it out of plastic. It's rigid, so it's going to set solid. Good chemical, heat and electrical resistance. We look at disadvantages then. Brittle, it tends to be very brittle, so plug sockets can break quite easily. Can't be reheated to soften, shape or mould it. Can't be recycled, therefore the waste goes to landfill, or the object goes to landfill at the end of its life cycle. Pollution from manufacturing process and material production. It's made from fossil fuels. At the end of the day, it's a plastic. Okay, we can't recycle it, so it's not going to be recycled plastic like a lot of thermoplastics can be, or the bio plastics we tend to get now as well. Okay, anything along those lines. It doesn't have to be word for word like that. Name 1 suitable manufacturing process for thermoplastic polymers. Up to 2 marks for a correct description of the process. So we're looking for something like injection moulding. The polymer's heated up and injected into a mould under pressure. Rapid prototyping, except fuse deposition, 3D printing. So it prints a product layer by layer using CAD. So 3D printing that, rapid prototyping or fuse deposition. Press moulding, a polymer's heated up and pressed between a 2-part mould. Yeah, you kind of clamp a sheet of not molten but softened plastic between a mould, almost like a balloon blown into shape, if you like. Okay, so that's that one. Done that question. Let me just turn this over. So polycarbonate is a thermoplastic polymer commonly used for safety glasses. Explain 2 of the properties of polycarbonate that make it suitable material for this product. So 2 lots, 4 marks, it's 2 per property. And what we've got here, it's hard, it avoids wear and tear and scratches because the material itself is hard, which would reduce visibility, which is a brilliant way of putting it. So if we'd have just put it's hard, it avoids wear and tear, I'd go, not sure, but then to say it's going to reduce visibility if it scratches up, that's ideal. Okay, polycarbonate's tough, so impact resistant. It won't deform or break when it receives an impact from loose material hitting it, and it allows the user to see through, it protects the eyes, anything like that. It's mouldable to get the shape around the head, etc. Okay, quite straightforward. Question 7a. Figure 9 shows a circuit symbol for a buzzer. What type of device is a buzzer? Well, quite simply, we're looking for an output device. Okay, you've got an input being switches, sensors, that kind of thing. Control being your microchip you're using in your coursework, and your outputs being your your light, your motion, or your noise. Okay, so this one is an output device. It's a noise. It's a buzzer. If we go on to this one, let me just find out the mark scheme for you. Dun, 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 dun. Can't find it. Okay, so this one here, we're looking for calculate the value of a resistor needed if the maximum current draw for a lamp is 20 milliamps, the voltage is 6 volts. Give the units with your answer. So if you can put a recall of Ohm's law, you should know from physics. So resistance equals the voltage over the current, or V equals IR. So either way, 1 mark for that. If you put the substitution in, so the voltage is 6, the resistance we've got 20 milliamps, which is the same as 0.02 amps. Okay. That then gives us an answer of 300 resistance or 300 ohms. Okay, 300 R or 300 ohms for 3 marks. I'll turn over the page. This is where we're looking for a flowchart to be done. So here we're looking for temperature is 30 degrees. Or more than 30 degrees, a decision box, which is your diamond shape. Just scroll down a minute. Ideally looking for a fan on, 30 degrees. You can check that. It's on for 30 seconds. Then we've got this kind of turn it back round and switch it off again, go back again. We've got these feedback loops that we talk about in our coursework that we've got. Okay, so there's 5 marks on there for the various little bits. What is meant by this symbol? Let me just find where the symbol is. What is the meaning of this symbol? I thought it said where the symbol was. I can't see it. Anyway, yeah, sorry, it's there. It's under the writing, that little symbol there. So you've got the equal to or greater than symbol there. 2 reasons why we might need to modify this circuit. You could be looking for things like the parameters have changed, so the things that we need to look at, the temperature values changed, the equipment's changed, the inputs or outputs have changed, developments in technology might have altered, the program might not operate as intended. Okay, so it's more than just one word, but we're adding some kind of thought to that one. Okay. There's 2 marks on that one. Question 8a. Biomass is one method of energy production. Name one other method of renewable energy production and one non-renewable energy. So renewable, you could use solar, wind, tidal power, anything that's using the kind of Earth's natural resources rather than fossil fuels, for example. So non-renewable, burning of coal. Okay, straightforward. So if I just go onto the mark scheme, if I can find it. Yeah, you could use solar power, wind power, tidal power, non-renewable, nuclear energy, fossil fuels, go gas, coal, petrol, diesel, or any other valid response to that one. Then the next question talks about compare and evaluate the use of biomass and any other, with other energy production methods. We've got 8 marks here. If I just read from the mark scheme, it goes on a banding system for questions this kind of length. And you've not got to fill this whole thing up with writing. You can see my candidate here has filled it up, and there's a substantial amount of work there and thought gone into it that justifies the full marks. It goes all the way from no response or nothing worthy of credit for 0 to a limited level of detail, 1 advantage or disadvantage of using biomass given, very little analysis or evaluation, all the way up to 7 to 8 marks, demonstrates a comprehensive knowledge of biomass compared to a range of alternative energies, evidence of comparison using advantages and disadvantages, evaluated the benefits against other energy production methods. You've got to have a good knowledge of it and other methods of production. So if we go through the advantages, biomass uses organic materials such as plants, vegetable oil or manure, so it's sustainable. All those things are going to be kind of grown or produced. Biomass is burnt in the same way as fossil fuels. Most of the materials used for biomass would be waste if not used up, end up in landfill. Less expensive than fossil fuels, reduces the use of fossil fuels, so we're trying to cut down on that. We've got around 50 years left. Produces less carbon than fossil fuels, so it's better for the planet anyway that way. Disadvantages then, less efficient way of generating energy than using fossil fuels. So we're not just burning something we've got there, we've got to go through the production method of getting that there, growing it or feeding the animals to create the manure. Gases can be released during the process that contribute to global warming. Requires a large amount of space, land and water. So you've got to grow crops before you can burn them. More expensive than other renewable energies. Biomass is burnt in the same way as fossil fuels, except any other valid responses. And that's 8 marks, so it's on that sliding scale of marking again. Okay, so this final question looks quite complicated how it gives it to you, but it's really quite simple. The automated punch press could be used to manufacture an aluminium grill. Figure 2 shows a number of triangles that are punched out of aluminium to make the grill, and that's a bit like a hole punch. Okay, figure 3 shows the size of the triangles, okay, just to blow it up for you a little bit. So we've got, I think it's 35 triangles. Yeah, 35 triangles. I can see my candidate's written 35 down here. So we're just working out how much area we've got. 100 by 100 gives us 10,000 for a start. So that's the overall area of the sheet. So work out the area of the triangle. So we've got, let's have a look for a start. Calculate your total area of the punch triangle, show your working. So if we do 100 times 100, take away, I'm just looking at the wrong bit. Look at that. Area of the triangle, equals half of base times height. So we've got the height there. Okay, the height's given as 16.45. It transfers over that way. And we're basically taking half of the area. So if you looked at that as a rectangle, you'd find the area that you're cutting away for the same area as this triangle. You've got half of it there being cut away, you've got half of it there being cut away. Okay, so half the base times the height is the area of a triangle. Area of one triangle equals half times 19 times 16.45. You could do like it's done here, is do half of the base times that, but it's better to do it all as a oneer, which gives us 156.275 or 28 as the exam board has shown us, 2 decimal places. It doesn't ask for that actually, 2 decimal places, but it would be useful. Total area gives us 156.28 or 0.25. Multiply it by the 35, the amount that they are, gives us 5469.625. Okay, slightly different working out on the mark scheme, but if you go to 3 decimal points, it's going to change the answer slightly by a fraction of a millimetre. Okay, so I'm not too worried about that. 3 marks there. We've shown our working, we've shown how we've got to that kind of final answer, and it gives us the key one there that we need, that the area of the triangles. If we turn it over for the last one then, calculate the amount of aluminium remaining after the triangles have been punched. So we do the area for a start, which is 10,000 millimetres squared. Take away the 5469.625 that we've got from the previous answer, the area of the triangles, which gives us 4530.375 with this working out. Slightly different again on the mark scheme, but I could take that into consideration. You put that down in there, it's given our units for us. Sometimes it asks us for the units, and the importance here is that we are showing all of our working out, literally methodically, making sure it's there, because when I'm looking for this as a marker, I'm trying to do it as quick as I can. So I'm looking for key numbers being mentioned. So as long as you're talking about the right kind of thing, yes, I've allowed for 3 decimal places as opposed to 2, so it changes the answer very, very slightly here. But as long as you've got the right answers, I can follow it through and I can award 2 marks. Okay, the whole exam paper there out of 50, quite straightforward. If you've struggled with anything, please just let me know and we'll go through it.